Hey everyone! So this video is going to be about some of the aspects of FPS combat in Star Citizen. FPS combat is one of Star Citizen's core features, and while it hasn't been in the spotlight all that much recently, hopefully we'll get some updates to it sometime in the future and even finally get Theaters of War, because I'm definitely a fan of FPS gameplay and would like to see Star Citizen's version of it progress. But before we get started, I just wanted to give you guys an update on the Mercury Star Runner. So the Mercury Star Runner is available to all owners on the PT right now, as I'm sure you've seen in all of the other videos that are on YouTube about it right now. I was going to make a video about it right away, but I think I'm going to wait for it to be released into the persistent universe so I can make a video about some of the ways you can use it and do a more thorough review instead of just doing a tour of it, because there's plenty of those out there if that's what you're looking for. So back to FPS combat, the first thing I wanted to take a look at is mouse sensitivity. If you play games other than Star Citizen, which I would assume most FPS fans would, then it can be nice to have the same sensitivity across multiple games. So the easiest way to do this is to find out how many centimeters or inches you have to move your mouse to complete one full turn. This is normally referred to as centimeters per 360 or your inches per 360. And for a lot of games, there's calculators online that'll calculate it for you if you put in your mouse DPI and in-game sensitivity. If there aren't any though, you can just measure it. The way I like to do this is I just line up to something in-game with my cursor, and then I move my mouse along a ruler until I complete one full 360 and I'm pointing at that same marker again. So my centimeters per 360 is about 40 based on my CSGO settings, and this is a sensitivity that I'm comfortable with. It's a bit low, but I have a lot of muscle memory playing on this sensitivity, so I like to try to use it in other games as well. So the issue for Star Citizen though is that I can't seem to find a reliable sensitivity calculator online. If you can find one, please let me know in the comments because my solution for this isn't perfect. So what I did to try to make my own sensitivity calculator is I just measured the distance per 360 at a lot of different sensitivities and then tried to find a correlation between them. So here's the data that I actually collected, and it fits pretty closely to a logarithmic scale. So I have a calculator linked down below where you can just plug in some numbers into this Google Doc, and it should give you a pretty good estimation of what sensitivity to use or what sensitivity you are using. But it's not perfect since it's just based on my measurements. So yeah, if you do know your sensitivity from another game and you'd like to convert it to this one, or if you just want to know what your sensitivity is right now, then you can use that and it should give you a good idea. Also, be sure that when you're adjusting your sensitivity that you're adjusting the right setting. It's the one near the bottom, not the one at the top that controls this curve thing, because if you move that from its initial setting of 1, it actually adds acceleration, which means that how far you move your cursor in game is based on how fast you're moving your mouse, which most people don't like because it can make it hard to be consistent. So after getting my sensitivity nailed down, I wanted to try out some Arena Commander. If I were to describe the experience in one word, I'd call it clunky. They don't focus on this mode too much, which I think is probably good because it's not part of Squadron 42 or the persistent universe, so fixing some of the problems that are specific to it would probably be a wasted effort. Like the maps, which have a lot of issues in terms of their playability, like one's way too small, one's way too big, and the high ground on both of them is way too overpowered, but there's no point in fixing those for now since they'd probably only be used for this mode and it wouldn't really further the development of the whole game. However, I did experience a lot of glitches that would warrant being fixed if they do happen in the persistent universe as well. So multiple times after using a med pin and then trying to pull out my gun right away, my character would drop the gun. I don't know if this is an issue in the persistent universe though, because there's not really that many opportunities at all in the persistent universe to test this kind of stuff. I've done most of the FPS combat missions in the persistent universe, but just in a quick 30 minutes to an hour of playing Arena Commander, I've probably had more combat engagements than in my entire time of playing in the persistent universe. And I think this is the bigger issue, because there's definitely stuff to work on for the FPS combat experience to make it better overall, but it seems like it's hard to bug test things if none of the testing is actually being done in the persistent universe. Maybe they could use some of the data collected in this mode, but it seems to me like it would be better to just have it running in the actual persistent universe so that the developers know that any problems that are happening there aren't just specific to Arena Commander. Another thing I noticed is that even on these small deathmatch servers, things still feel pretty stuttery and kind of weird, and not as smooth as you'd like it to be for an FPS game. Now I was playing against people on pretty high ping, but hit detection was very weird and other games would handle high ping players better, at least in my experience. This seems somewhat worrisome though, because unless they're allocating very minimal resources to these Arena Commander servers, the fact that it's still laggy feeling even without the server having to simulate the whole persistent universe seems like an issue. Hopefully the cause of this is just the high ping of the other players though, not some underlying netcode issue with the way that they handle lag compensation. Overall though, I still enjoyed playing a few matches of Arena Commander, even with all of the glitches. I just hope that we get Theaters of War or some more FPS combat content in the Persistent Universe soon to help bug test it in an environment that is more realistic to the game's end goal. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments though, and if you've played Arena Commander at all recently. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.